Not your run-of-the-mill family hatchback, the Citroen C4 piles on the technology and includes some unorthodox styling features, but it all hangs together rather well. In the form we're looking at here, the car gets the larger second-generation C5 model's more distinctive nose, plus there's a couple of higher-tech BMW-developed petrol engines borrowed from its Peugeot 308 PSA Group stablemate. The upgraded interior is closer in quality to top rivals and makes up for any remaining lack with its sheer wow factor. Excellent diesel engines and lots of equipment also help to tempt buyers.
Citroen confounded most people's expectations with the C4. After a series of fairly ordinary offerings in the family hatchback sector, this car saw the French brand back to its innovative best. Now, it achieved great success on the rally scene, but is this latest version enough to achieve big sales in the family hatchback sector? Well, so far so good, with over 900,000 examples sold. And Citroen have taken the opportunity on the version we're looking at here to do a spot of refettling. There's a more distinctive front end, and the 1.6 litre VTI, 120 bhp and 1.6 litre THP 150 bhp engines that weren't available when this car was originally launched. As before, there are two body styles available, a 5-door hatch like we have here and a 3-door coupe. The initial impression you get when driving the C4 is that its makers may have overdone it a little on the innovation front. Digital readouts shine out at you wherever you look, and the centre of the steering wheel is fixed in position so the minor controls can be housed on it, and the airbags always perfectly aligned with your face. Remarkably, however, once you get over the initial strangeness, everything works really well. You only need to divert your attention very slightly from the road to pick up a whole wealth of information on the centre dash-top display, which on this revised model includes a rev counter that, when you really put your foot down, flashes at the limit to prompt you to change up. Perhaps the most significant thing about this facelifted C4 are the under-bonnet changes to the petrol engine lineup, and they've altered this car from being a family hatchback that once upon a time you only bought if you wanted a diesel engine. For many buyers, much of the time, the 1.6 litre VTI petrol model that I'm driving here with its Mini Cooper source zingy engine will be a better bet than its 1.6 litre diesel counterpart. As ever with the C4, this isn't the sharpest handling family hatchback in the sector, although it's quite adequate for the needs of its target market. As ever with Citroen, more emphasis has been placed on ride comfort, something you appreciate every day rather than simply when you're in the mood on a twisting back road. As a result, this remains possibly the best car in its class to use over longer journeys. If you're familiar with the original Citroen C4, then the changes made to this facelifted version won't come as too much of a shock. There's a restyled, recontoured bonnet to make the look more like the larger C5 model. There are restyled integrated chevrons here, and the front bumper's also been revamped a bit and the number plate repositioned for what Citroen hope is a stronger, sportier, more dynamic look. The interior remains as spacious as ever. If you opt for the 3-door coupe rather than this 5-door hatch, you get pretty much the same levels of rear legroom and boot space. 314 litres in the coupe with all these seats in place, as opposed to 320 litres in this 5-door hatch. The only downsides I found with the coupe are you've got a slightly narrower boot opening, and the levers that you pull up to get the front seats forward so you can get into the back have a habit of catching you on the shins as you get in and out. Other than that, for a coupe it's pretty practical. Prices lie in the £13,000 to £19,000 bracket, which is about par for the course in the family hatchback sector. The engine range starts with Citroen's two oldest petrol engines, a 90 brake horsepower 1.4 and 110 brake horsepower 1.6. Better though to go for a diesel or one of Citroen's more modern units. Now, you've either got the 1.6 litre 120 brake horsepower VTI, and that's the unit I've got here. It makes a really good bet because it combines 120 mph performance with 42 miles to the gallon combined fuel economy. But if that's not enough in terms of right foot grunt, then you could opt for the range-topping 1.6 litre THP turbo high pressure engine, and that's good for 130 miles an hour flat out. So the better petrol engines these days have plenty of appeal in the C4, but many buyers will continue to be swayed by Citroen's excellent range of HDI common rail diesel engines. The entry-level 1.6 litre HDI with 90 brake horsepower, well, that's impressively quiet. And it's reasonably quick too, getting from rest to 60 in 12.5 seconds. The 110 brake horsepower version accomplishes the sprint in 11.2 seconds and also offers buyers the option of Citroen's clever EGS electronic semi-automatic gearbox. At the top of the range, the 2 litre HDI with 140 brake horsepower makes rest to 60 in 9.7 seconds. All C4s are well equipped. You get ABS with electronic brake force distribution and brake assist. You get twin front and lateral airbags and twin side window airbags too. There's a multifunction trip computer, there's a CD stereo, remote central locking, electric front windows and electric mirrors, power steering, and you get a cruise control system with a speed limiter built into it. So it's a well-equipped car, and of course it becomes more so the more that you ascend the trim range. As tends to be the case, the Citroen C4's best fuel economy figures are produced by its smallest diesel engines. Sure enough, the 1.6 litre HDI units both deliver around 60 miles to the gallon on a combined cycle, which is pretty good. Even the 2 litre HDI range topper should deliver 53 miles to the gallon, and that makes it a very good all-round prospect. If you're shopping for a petrol engine, the entry-level 1.4 should return you about 44 miles to the gallon, and even the new 1.6 litre VTI and THP petrol units should deliver you over 40 miles to the gallon on a regular basis on the combined cycle. Insurance, well, that ranges between groups 4 and 10, and CO2 emissions vary between 117 and 164 grams per kilometre. Now, if you find yourself uninspired by the obvious choices in the family hatchback sector, the Citroen C4 continues to make a distinctive and slightly left-field choice. Now, Citroen's at its best when it does things differently, and the C4 is an obvious example of this. The 3-door coupe and the 5-door hatchback, both very different body styles, but that should help this car appeal to the maximum number of buyers. The unashamedly high-tech approach favoured by the C4 will alienate some buyers and inspire others, but it makes it quite unlike any other offering in this sector. Reasonable build quality and a decent drive are matched with a smarter feel, excellent equipment levels, a better range of petrol engines, and some of the best diesels in the business. Throw in Citroen's tight pricing and aggressive marketing promotions, and the C4 delivers on a lot of levels.